Welcome back to the Wearable Takeover podcast, where I'm providing a weekly briefing for innovators, builders, investors, and early adopters who are shaping the future of technology on the body. I'm your host, Lakeisha Greenwade, also known as Coach L. And folks, we have made it to August. Now, we're kicking off the month with a jam packed episode because we're going to dive onto the tennis courts in Washington, D.C., where there was a regulatory war over player data that's actually coming to head at the DC Open. Plus, we'll look at a structural shift in clinical health tech as a brand new federal offices that opens its doors to AI. We'll also break down some of the most talked about hardware that drops this week, including an outdoor smartwatch pushing 5,000 nits, plus Nike's new heated recovery smart slides. And of course, we gotta discuss the hidden spy tech wearable featured in the number one movie on Netflix right now. So let's plug in and get started. So, first, we're going to hit the hard courts of the Mubadala City DC Open, and it just wrapped up the final matches this weekend. Now, while the tennis was world class, there were many celebrities, many visitors coming to the area in the DMV. The real story was for the tech community because of the data war happening on the players' bodies. Now, if you've watched the broadcast, you saw some of the top athletes heavily utilizing approved in competition biometric centers from the likes of Catapult and Whoop right on the court. Now, at a 500 level event like DC, this live internal load and heart rate data actually feeds directly into the ATP Tennis IQ wearables platform. This provides coaches with instant granular access to post match physical metrics. But here's where the tension lies. This tour level embraces direct and frustrating contrast to other Grand Slams. Now, the majors still rigidly enforces strict bans on in competition wearables due to outdated communication and courtside coaching fears. The DC Open just served as a living proof of concept. It proved to the world that wearable tech optimizes athlete safety and prevents injury without hurting the integrity of the sport. So the clock is officially ticking on the Grand Slams to stop fighting the future. Let's see what it does. Now, let's stick with biometrics and pivot to a shift in clinical health wearables. So, we've been tracking the transition from consumer fitness tracking to real time clinical diagnostics, but the roadblocks have always been twofold: latency and regulation. Now, both of those walls are officially coming down when we look at the U.S. Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, also known as CMS, which is in Baltimore. So we're going from DC to Baltimore here, right? And so they've actually established a brand new Office of Health Technology Products office. So for enterprise digital health teams, this is the ultimate federal green light, creating a dedicated fast track pipeline to get AI driven wearables integrated into mainstream healthcare reimbursement. And the timing couldn't be better because when we look at hardware, it's breaking out of the cloud. And we could go to Chicago because there we find researchers at the University of Chicago who debuted a breakthrough smart patch this spring that's capable of running AI inference locally and directly on the device. So instead of routing sensitive cardiac or biometric data to an external server, which adds dangerous latency, this on device edge AI delivers diagnostic readouts in milliseconds. So when it comes to intercepting a sudden arrhythmia, local processing on the skin is actually replacing the cloud. So now let's talk about pure consumer hardware because the crossover between wearables, lifestyle, fashion, and Hollywood is reaching a fever pitch. But first, the premium sports watch market just got a massive shakeup. And so when we look at Samsung's Galaxy Unpacked, we have our official look at the Galaxy Watch Ultra 2. Now, this is running on Qualcomm's Snapdragon Wear Elite platform, and the feature is turning heads and is a jaw dropping 5,000 nits of localized peak brightness on the display. And so this is an upgrade for outdoor mapping under a midday sun. But the most unexpected hardware drops of the week are targeting your wardrobe. So yeah, we got, that happening last week with Samsung, or excuse me, the product becoming available for Samsung this week, but it was announced last week. And then also we had a, a collaboration between Nike and Hyperice. And so this officially hit the streets. So we're looking at the Nike Air Zoom Hyperslide. Now, this was built explicitly for post game athlete recovery. And so these slides feature a detachable magnetic pod house right in the strap of the shoe. And so, what this does is it delivers 3 levels of heat, targeted vibration massage, and this goes across your foot while you walk. Now, if you want proof that the wearable hype has officially captured public attention, you just got to log into Netflix. Folks, I've been telling you about wearables for 10 years, but Kevin Hart's new movie, 72 Hours, just shot to the #1 spot on the platform. And the entire plot kicks off because Hart's character needs to spy on a group of Gen Zers for marketing research. And he does it in an unethical, high tech, wearable recording necklace. So we all know, there's a lot of talk about ethics as it relates to wearables. But with this necklace, it's actually packed with hidden microphones and sensors. So when hidden tech becomes the central plot of the biggest movie in the country, you know that the wearable revolution has fully permeated pop culture. Meanwhile, neural interfaces are getting major institutional backing. Wearable Devices Limited is actually closing their 3.3 million private placement round, according approximately August 3rd. And so what that means is that there's going to be capital injection that's explicitly earmarked to scale the commercialization of their Mudra, I think I'm saying that correctly, their Mudra neural input platform. And so basically this is using neural wristbands to interpret subtle nerve signals from finger movements to control smart glasses without touch. That's kind of interesting, right? All right, folks, that's a lot there. But when we look from the courts of DC and we're looking at regulation and the government offices in Baltimore that will aid us in producing more AI enabled wearables. And then when we look at Nike's heated smart slides, and then Kevin Hart, rocking spy tech necklaces and glasses at the top of the Netflix chart. The wearable landscape this August is moving at breakneck speed. So I'm so excited to introduce a number of our founders this month. You'll listen to some of their conversations as well as continue to bring you updates in the wearable tech ecosystem because, body on the tech is just taking over. That wraps up this episode of Wearable Takeover. If you're building, engineering, or investing in the future of tech on the body, make sure you hit the subscribe button, drop us a review, and share this episode with your product teams. And hey, by the way, go ahead and give a donation to Wearable Tech Ventures. We also have an opportunity for you to win a $250 gift card to 5 Iron Golf when you make a $100 donation by noon on August the 7th. Thank you, folks. Peace.